you think space was silent? Well, it is not. In this video, I will show you the 25 most scary sounds in our universe. All of these sounds are real. They are captured by NASA and other space organizations. Let me show you an example of what you can expect. Keep watching until the end to find out the most astonishing sounds ever recorded in space. This sound was picked up by NASA's Juno spacecraft while it was flying by Jupiter. It's not what you'd expect. It's deep, growly, and honestly sounds like a giant beast breathing in the dark. Scientists say it's caused by Jupiter's powerful magnetic field interacting with solar wind, but to most people it just sounds like something alive is out there. If you heard this without knowing it came from a planet, you'd probably think it came from a horror movie. This next sound will send chills down your spine. Listen closely and try not to get too scared. You've probably seen pictures of auroras on Earth, green lights dancing in the sky, but on Jupiter, they're much bigger and way more intense. NASA recorded the sound of Jupiter's auroras, and it's seriously creepy. It's full of high-pitched screeching and static like a broken radio trying to talk. These auroras are caused by radiation and particles slamming into Jupiter's magnetic field. It sounds like the planet is screaming. Each sound is scarier than the last, but the final one is absolutely terrifying. You don't want to miss it. This isn't your regular lightning bolt. Jupiter has storms so big they could swallow Earth, and when lightning strikes there, the sound is wild. NASA's Juno spacecraft picked it up, and it's a loud, crackling pop, like a massive electrical explosion in space. It's fast, sharp, and sounds like something breaking through the sky. The idea of storms that huge, throwing out energy like that, just makes Jupiter even more terrifying. What you're about to hear is one of the most mysterious sounds ever recorded in space. When the Cassini spacecraft flew by Saturn, it picked up radio waves that scientists turned into sound. What they found was disturbing. These emissions sound like high-pitched squeals, mixed with static and something that honestly resembles alien chatter. It's not from aliens, at least we don't think so, but it gives off major sci-fi horror vibes. It's the kind of sound that makes you feel like you're not alone out there. If you thought this was creepy, wait until you hear what's coming next. It only gets more weird from here. Jupiter's magnetic field is the strongest of any planet in our solar system, and when space probes captured its sound, it came through as a steady, mechanical hum, like a giant alien engine running in the dark. It pulses and vibrates like it's alive. The sound might just be plasma waves bouncing around, but when you hear it, it's easy to imagine a spaceship hiding behind those clouds. Jupiter's magnetic field is so strong, it extends over 4 million miles from the planet. Imagine lightning so powerful it can be heard from space. That's what Cassini recorded when it passed by Saturn. The sound is a chaotic mess of crackles and electric pops, like dozens of zaps going off at once. It's fast, intense, and feels completely unnatural. Saturn's storms can last for months, and the lightning strikes are thousands of times more powerful than anything on Earth. Fun fact, some of Saturn's lightning bolts are over 10,000 times stronger than the ones on Earth. Mars might look calm on the surface, but deep down, it rumbles. InSight, NASA's Mars lander, recorded the sounds of quakes on the red planet. The audio is a low, eerie vibration, like a distant drum beating under rock. There's no life, no cities, just the planet shifting and cracking in the silence. It feels lonely and a little haunted. Here's another weird fact. Marsquakes helped scientists discover that Mars has a molten core. just like Earth. Jupiter's ionosphere is a layer of charged particles high above the planet, and when NASA listened in, they heard something weird. The sound is full of static and strange tones, like distorted whispers in a storm. It's not loud, but it feels unnatural. This is energy interacting with gases, but it still gives off the vibe that something is talking, just not in a language we understand. Did you know that Jupiter's ionosphere glows in ultraviolet light, creating bright auroras even more powerful than Earth's? Well, it is true. The next sound is about Venus. Venus is often called Earth's sister planet, but it's more like her evil twin. When probes dropped into Venus's thick, toxic atmosphere, they recorded strange, low-frequency rumbling and hissing sounds. The air pressure there is crushing, and temperatures can melt metal. The noise feels like something out of a nightmare, like the planet itself is growling as it swallows anything that enters. Fun fact: probes that land on Venus usually only survive for a few minutes before being destroyed by the heat and pressure. Even our own planet makes some spooky sounds. Earth's magnetic field, which protects us from solar radiation, gives off a deep, pulsing hum when turned into sound. It's slow, steady, and kind of sounds like the planet is breathing. Most of us never hear it, but it's always there, buzzing quietly as Earth moves through space. Another fun fact: the magnetic field is what creates the northern and southern lights, those beautiful green and purple skies near the poles. When Apollo astronauts placed seismometers on the moon, they picked up something unexpected. Strange, echoing vibrations after impacts. It was like the moon rang like a bell. The sound is a soft, metallic hum that lingers longer than it should, making people wonder if the moon is hollow. It's not, but still, it's quiet but unsettling, like the sound is trapped and bouncing around inside. Fun fact: moonquakes can last for up to 10 minutes, way longer than earthquakes on Earth. Comet 67P doesn't just fly through space, it sings. When the Rosetta spacecraft got close, it picked up a strange, rhythmic clicking sound, like something gently tapping on glass. Scientists think it's caused by charged particles interacting with the comet's magnetic field. But it sounds oddly calm and eerie, like a ghost humming a tune through the vacuum of space. Fun fact: this sound was originally 10,000 times lower than what we can hear. It had to be shifted up to make it audible. Cool, let's check out the next one. Another sound from our own planet, but from way above. This isn't the sound of people or nature, it's Earth's upper atmosphere, recorded using very low-frequency VLF radio waves. The result? A haunting hiss, like wind on an old radio. These sounds are always there, bouncing between the ground and the ionosphere, but we never hear them unless we're using special instruments. Fun fact: VLF radio waves from Earth can travel thousands of miles and are even used to communicate with submarines underwater. Alright, time to get up close with the star that keeps us alive, and sometimes sounds like it's furious. The sun doesn't just shine, it erupts. When solar flares burst from its surface, they release waves of energy that can be turned into sound. The result is a fast, crackling roar like a jet engine caught in a storm. These flares can cause blackouts on Earth, but in space, they just sound angry. Fun fact: a single solar flare can release as much energy as 1 billion hydrogen bombs. Let's go! Next up is something most people don't even know makes a sound. You wouldn't expect a bunch of ice and rock to make noise, but Saturn's rings are full of surprises. When Cassini passed through them, it recorded high-frequency pops and clicks, like a rainstorm in space. These sounds come from tiny particles slamming into the spacecraft as it zipped through the rings. Fun fact, Saturn's rings stretch over 170,000 miles wide, but they're only about 30 feet thick. Awesome. Let's jump into some seriously weird energy next. Plasma waves. When NASA's Van Allen probes flew through Earth's magnetic field, they recorded plasma waves. And the sound is straight out of a sci-fi movie. It's full of rising tones and eerie whistles like an alien spacecraft warming up. These waves are caused by charged particles moving through space, but when you hear them, it's hard not to imagine something much stranger. Fun fact, these plasma waves actually help protect Earth by deflecting dangerous solar particles. Great! Now we're heading to one of the coldest, weirdest planets in the solar system. Uranus. When Voyager 2 flew past Uranus, it recorded strange magnetic activity that sounds like a rising, ghostly siren. The tone slowly climbs almost like a warning signal in deep space. Uranus's magnetic field is tilted and off-center, which makes its behavior unpredictable, and the sounds just as bizarre. Fun fact, unlike most planets, Uranus spins on its side, which makes its seasons last over 20 years each. Let's keep it going. Next, we head even farther out to the icy giant, Neptune. Voyager 2 also gave us the first sounds from Neptune, and they're as strange as the planet itself. The audio is full of deep rumbles and soft pulses, like something massive moving in the dark. Neptune is windy, cold, and mysterious, and its sounds reflect that. It feels like listening to the heartbeat of a frozen giant. Another weird fact for you here. Neptune has the fastest winds in the solar system, up to 1,200 miles per hour. Awesome, we're about to leave the solar system with this next one. Courtesy of Voyager 1. After Voyager 1 left our solar system, it entered interstellar space and recorded the sound of plasma waves. It's a high-pitched, ghostly whistle that rises and falls like a distant siren. This is the sound of space beyond the planets, where the sun's influence fades and the true void begins. Fun fact, Voyager 1 is over 14 billion miles from Earth and still sending back data after more than 45 years in space. Let's dive back into Saturn, this time to one of its strangest and most famous storms. Saturn has a massive storm at its north pole shaped like a perfect hexagon. When scientists turned data from the storm into sound, it created a deep, moaning hum, slow, heavy, and weirdly hypnotic. The storm has been spinning for decades and shows no signs of stopping. It's like a six-sided engine running on chaos. Fun fact, the hexagon is about 20,000 miles wide. That's nearly twice the width of Earth. Now we're heading into some seriously deep space horror. Time to listen to a black hole. Scientists took data from a black hole in the Perseus galaxy cluster and turned it into sound. What came out was a deep, rumbling growl, like the universe itself is groaning. This isn't science fiction. It's real data turned into audio, and once you hear it, it's hard to forget. It sounds like space is alive and hungry. Fun fact, the black hole that made this sound is about 250 million light-years away from Earth. Let's keep going. This next one is the sound of a star dying. It's as intense as it sounds. A supernova is a massive explosion that happens when a star runs out of fuel and collapses. NASA turned data from one of these into sound, and it's like a massive echoing boom followed by waves of low-frequency rumbling. It sounds like the universe taking a deep breath and then letting out a scream. The energy in this moment is almost impossible to imagine. Fun fact, in 1 second, a supernova can release more energy than our sun will emit in its entire 10 billion year life. Alright, now we're getting into the top 3, and this next one is still a complete mystery. Fast radio bursts, or FRBs, are one of space's biggest puzzles. They're short, powerful blasts of radio energy that come from far beyond our galaxy. When converted into sound, they come through as sharp, sudden chirps, loud and fast like a signal from the unknown. No one knows exactly what causes them. They might be from neutron stars or something else entirely. Fun fact, some FRBs repeat, while others happen once and never again. Scientists still don't know why. Here comes number 2, possibly the most famous space signal ever recorded. In 1977, a radio telescope in Ohio picked up a powerful 72-second signal from deep space. It was so unusual, the astronomer wrote, "Wow" next to it on the printout. And that's how it got its name. No one's ever heard it again, and we still don't know where it came from. When played as sound, it's a single rising tone that feels like someone or something tried to make contact. Fun fact, despite decades of searching, the wow signal has never been repeated or explained. Here it is, the final and oldest sound in the entire universe. This is the oldest sound ever recorded, the leftover echo of the Big Bang itself. It's called the cosmic microwave background, and when turned into audio, it becomes a steady, low hum that never stops. It's the sound of everything starting, of the universe being born, and it's still out there, playing quietly in every direction. Fun fact, this sound is nearly 14 billion years old, older than stars, galaxies, and everything we know. Let me know what you think in the comments below.